Welcome to the Boat Babe podcast with your favorite boat babe here, Mary Allison. Here we talk boats, DIY projects, and manifestation tips to living your best vacay life on the water. If anything's going to happen, y'all know it. It's going to happen out there. So let's go explore together. Welcome back to another episode of Boat Babe with your favorite boat babe on the water, Mary Allison. Actually, I'm at Barber, so I'm your favorite boat babe at the boatyard. Still hanging out. Painting went really well. We just had some hiccups this weekend with the dew that set in a little early in the day, and that was the same issue I had with varnish. I'm going to do a whole episode about varnish coming up soon. I already uploaded a video on YouTube about applying all wood to your teak, so go check that out. Oh man, it is 34 degrees here. I'm assuming you are in the middle of this winter storm that the country has just gotten, or at least I know California had like tons of crazy rain. Midwest, the South, and the Northeast are all frozen right now. And unfortunately down here in Paradise on the beach, it is frozen too. Yep, I know 34 degrees is not frozen, but I did just get ice off my deck that has frozen because, I'm on the stands and the guys tilted my boat back a little too much. So the way my Endeavor is built is the drains are about midship, a little aft. And and there's a step. People trip down it all the time. Like if you step onto the boat, you have to step up a step onto the deck, facing aft, and then get in the cockpit. And if the boat is is tilted back just a little bit, water just settles and it can't drain to those drains because normally, obviously, the boat is level, and it drains just perfectly. So it just got some ice off of the deck, tried to get the water to go down, and then I just took some precautions. I mean, when I'm in the water, the water temperature never dips below, 60s here. It's never that cold. We always have amazing sunshine. The water's always warm. But since I'm out of the water, I've never been out of the water when it's going to dip down tonight in like the low 20s. And I just don't trust that something's going to freeze that I didn't even think to prepare. So just the big thing that I did was just drain all the water out of the pipes. So I turn off the water pump, on the 12 volt panel, and then just drain all the water out. And I flushed the toilet, which is just fresh water that just goes overboard right now. So it's just plain water. And I also have a space heater, like one of those small space heaters, and I plugged it in the other day I've got an inverter on the boat, so I just can plug it in and it can run off my batteries, but my batteries were not happy about it. I've got to figure out what's going on. It shouldn't pull that much power to where my battery charger is not catching up, so I think it's a battery charger problem. I think I need to upgrade my battery charger because I do have new batteries and they're fine. They're Go batteries. Everybody says that they're great. I shouldn't have to replace them as often as I did. So I think it's the battery charger that's not happy. So I have a microwave, switch on the panel, on my 120 volt panel. And so I can plug in things to the microwave breaker and then run it off of shore power. So that's what I did with the space heater. So that's running, and I went downstairs and it's actually quite pleasant. It's actually great. But today was not a day that I got any boat work done because it was so freaking cold. But this is the first time though that yes, I've had ice on the deck, and it is interesting though. I have a drain at the very bottom of my keel. Not very bottom, probably like 12 inches up, and it's a drain plug, and you just can, it's sealed shut with 5200, so it does not come off unless I want it to, and I took that drain off the other day and I went on the Endeavor forum and I was like, where does this drain even go? Like, I'm so confused. Am I missing a compartment on my boat? Like, is there water that somehow settles into the lead at the base of the keel? No. Okay. I realized first of all, I went on the forum and somebody said, and I'm just gonna say maybe it wasn't the Endeavor forum in case somebody on the Endeavor forum is listening to this. Somebody said, I need to add a drain plug to the bottom of my keel because I keep getting frozen water in my keel during the winter. And I'm just sitting there like, first of all, what? Why is there water in your keel, which means it's in your bilge? Like, that's just a big red flag. First of all, do you not look into your bilge to see that there's water? I'm not even going to go to the fact that, like, there's a bilge pump because I get it. Like, with the Endeavor keel and the bilge, it's freaking huge. Like, you can have like 300 gallons of water in there and not even realize it. Like, it's so big. And that is an over exaggeration. But I'm like, it is a daily habit of mine to look in the bilge. And I'm like, do people not look into their bilges? So, first of all, okay, ice in your bilge. First of all, why is your boat that cold? Like, space heaters are so simple. I can't imagine living in a climate where you wouldn't have access to a plug to plug in. I mean, even if it's an extension cord going to the dock. And I mean, yeah, let's say you're on anchor in 4 degrees Fahrenheit in a snowstorm. I feel like your boat would just sink anyway because it's covered in ice, so that just doesn't sound like a really good idea either. So back to the whole water freezing in the bilge situation. Like, if you have water freezing in your bilge, don't tell anyone. Like, don't ask what to do about it. I want you to clean it out. Get a shop vac. My easiest go-to to get water out of my bilge, because like I said, my bilge is so long and so deep that I've got 2 bilge pumps. They still can't even get all the water out. Like, I still have maybe an inch or two, but that inch or two is 25 gallons. So I get a shop vac, like a big shop vac, and I take the filter out. And then I went to Home Depot, and you can buy hose attachments that go to the end so you can extend it. And I bought, I think, 4 hose attachments, like the cone shaped ones, that are probably like 2 feet long each. So I just take up the floor right under my stairs. I put all those attachments on to the shop vac, and then I just turn on the shop vac and I get every little bit of water out that I can. And then within 2 days, usually it's completely dry because I also run a dehumidifier all the time. But if you have water in your bilge and you live in a freezing environment, I feel like you've probably got bigger problems going on in your boat and other things that might burst. So, number 1, make sure there's no water in your bilge. And number 2, drain your water pipes, because that's the first thing to burst. And you just never know. I've got copper pipes. Yeah, maybe they're not going to crack, but the attachments for sure will. I mean, though my boat is so old, like I've got like where I've taken ceilings down and stuff, and I'm like, well, this water's been leaking for so long, like tiny little leaks, just from a hose clamp getting loose, or just from a connector, not happy and needing to be replaced. So the first thing is just drain the water. The next thing, that I did, and I know everybody else can have a suggestion with the coolant, what to do with your diesel tanks. I'm not going there. Fill up your diesel tanks all the way and get a fuel stabilizer and put it in there. Period. That's it. But, one thing that I did was I opened up my engine room doors, because as warm as it is in there, I don't have the water to keep me warm because I'm not in the water. And I just wanted to make sure that heat was going to go in there. And so that's basically it. That is what I have done to get ready for 20-something degree weather tonight. And I don't think I really even probably would have done anything. I don't even know if I would have gone down and checked on the boat today. But because we had such cold temperatures for the last 24 hours, it's not worth it. I mean, that would be the dumbest error. Like, oh, I just was lazy and I didn't feel like going and checking on the boat. Like, crap, I had a blind burst, or the heater turned off, or the shore power, just, turned off, or something dumb. It's just not worth it. So I decided to just take the precaution and, preventative maintenance. So anyway, update on the paint. So, we're almost finished. Except I decided, did I tell you in the last episode I'm repainting the hull? I'm not happy. I'm not happy with the hull. Remember how I said, I was like, if it's not as shiny as the sailboat across from me at J90, then it is not shiny enough. And this is just such a huge learning experience. I don't know if this is like one of those bucket list things. And maybe somebody would just think I'm insane and that I need to choose a new bucket list, thing to check off. But my boat's 40 years old. She's not going to be painted again. I mean, most likely. I can't imagine saying, oh, still on Rhiannon, 60 years. I mean, maybe that would be awesome, but I kind of hope to also have a catamaran by then. So the paint job is it's going really well. The learning experience has just been, a learning experience. And I saw the bill from Barber today just for the haul out and just hanging out. And it is 4 times less than what it would have been for somebody to paint my boat. So I'm excited for this to be finished. I didn't mean to start a huge project when it was 100 degrees, and now I'm coming to the close of the project at, 32 degrees right now. But it is what it is. The weather has been the hardest thing. So when hauling out, you think like, oh, I'm just going to be hauled out for 4 days and do a bottom job. And then all of a sudden, you're like, what the heck? It's been raining for 4 days. The boatyard still wants to get paid for those 4 days. Like, it doesn't matter if you can't go out there or not. You're still going to have to pay. And side note, so I've also realized as a captain and a sailor and a boater, people tend to think that you are on the freaking ball when it comes to weather. So I was on the boat recently and somebody's like, how have you not looked at the weather? And I'm like, what? And she was like, you're a captain, you should keep up with the weather all the time. And I'm like, okay, first of all, that comment is kind of like going up to somebody who lives on a boat with a lot of teak and saying, wow, you need to restart varnishing. You just need to varnish your boat again. God, your teak doesn't look very good. Like going up to somebody that lives on a sailboat most of the year or travels on boats or works on boats and then say, I can't believe you just don't keep up the weather. Shouldn't you know that storm's coming? It's kind of a slap in the face. So our weather here in Alabama changes not as often as Florida, but just about. And so often I prepare for the week. Maybe before I go to bed, I'll look at the weather and see what's going on, especially if there's a storm or something like that. But the way that this stuff changes is almost impossible when you're doing boat work in a yard, because you can look at the weather and go, oh, cool. Okay, it's going to be 6 knots at 9 a.m. It's going to be 43 degrees. I'll bundle up. And then all of a sudden you wake up and you're like, where the heck did 25 knots? And it shifted from, the northwest. Like, where did that come from? Oh, and it's 56 degrees, but I still can't do anything. And so that's just one of those pleasures of, boat life, boat world, haul out life in the boatyard. But you know what? I'm here to tell you it is worth every weird hiccup. It's worth it. I absolutely am soaking up the sunsets. I'm soaking up the familiar trucks, the familiar faces in the yard. I'm soaking up the peace and quiet that I have at night because I'm usually the only person there working on the boat or just checking on it. I'm soaking up the music from next door when they're spraying. I hope that you enjoy boating like I do. I hope that you can look at your boat and say, holy shit, I have the biggest project coming up that's going to drain my bank account. And I hope you can say, every moment of this is going to be 100% worth it because I'm going to learn. The boat's going to be amazing when I'm done. And I get to look at this gorgeous adventure boat, family, boat family member. Like, I don't know how you think of your boat, but my boat is my wife, my girlfriend, my sister, she's my child, she's our family member. Like, I think of our boat as something, like I've said, if you take care of your boat, she's going to take care of you. And so I really hope that your boat isn't a burden. If your boat's a burden, let me know. We can chat about it. If you absolutely love your boat, I want to know the little things about your boat that you absolutely love. Do you have a weird couch like I do that pulls out into a bed and it's like a total secret board underneath it? Like, nobody, so when I found my boat, I dreamed that the couch pulled out like it did. And I asked the owners, I said, does the couch pull out really weird? They were like, oh yeah, you wouldn't even know it. But you have to like sit on the floor, put your feet on the drawers underneath the couch, and you just have to yank really hard. And you're like, wow, I have a decent sized bed right here. Something like that. Like, I absolutely love that. I love that I can swing my closet open and stand on my engine and work on stuff. I can take my hot water heater out that I'm about to have to replace for $1,200. Don't even get me started on how much it costed, cost of stuff. I'm fine with it. It's fine. But why? Anyway, so, there's certain things about boats that we all love. That's why we have a boat. If you have a boat you absolutely hate, then just get rid of it. Sell it. Because somebody else is going to love that boat. Like you couldn't, which is fine. Go find a boat that works for you. My boat, like I've said, people don't like to climb into the cockpit. They don't like the stairs that go downstairs. They feel like they're in a hole. But for me, I absolutely love climbing in the cockpit because it's like today. It's blowing 20-25 from the north. White caps and smoke on the water. Oh my gosh. It has been the most gorgeous day out there, but it is so cold. Obviously, there was no boat out there. But if I happen to be going, I don't know, sailing from Mobile, needing to get to Pensacola because I'm heading to Florida or the Bahamas, today would have been the prettiest sailing day ever because my center cockpit has a huge enclosure. And so I can close all the curtains, zip it all up, and then open up the hatch. And I could even put that space heater up there. Just bundle up with some blankets and a pillow, grab a good book, put it on the autopilot, and throw up the sails. Today would have been honestly the best day to head to Pensacola ever, even though nobody else was out there on the water and they would have thought I was crazy. But it would have been the prettiest picture ever if somebody would have taken a picture from the, from the coast or from the, from the shore. So I hope you enjoy your boat as much as I do. I hope you enjoy talking about boats as much as I do and are enjoying this podcast. If you share this podcast with others, it really helps me out. And also, I want to know your thoughts about the podcast. I'm only open to positive thoughts. If you like this podcast, just give me 2 thumbs up in the comments because I don't exactly know which direction to go. I want to talk about boat stuff that you enjoy talking about. So if you feel like I'm on the right path, give me 2 thumbs up. Give this podcast a 5-star review and go follow me on Instagram at thatboatbabe. And I love y'all so much, and I hope you have an amazing rest of your week and a wonderful weekend. And I will talk to you soon. I love you. Bye.